Good evening, dear televiewers. It is time for the English Prime News of Akamdis Television. Here are the headlines. On the strict instructions from His Excellency President Paul Biya, a two-day campaign to fight hate speech and xenophobia in the central region of Cameroon, organized by the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism, has started this day, July 8th, at the Yaoundé Conference Center. We have details as we begin the news. Mutation newspaper, a private print media in Cameroon, celebrates 25 years of existence this July 8, 2021. An opportunity for the entire staff to celebrate this memorable day at the head office here in Yaoundé, the capital city of Cameroon. A 23-year-old student from the Dijon University in France was granted audience and uploaded this July 7 by the Minister of Youth Affairs and Civic Education, Monona Photo, for inventing a PKB Mars rover device capable of recognizing human gestures from a distance. More on this as we begin the news. Good evening once more. If you are just joining, this is the 6 p.m. Prime News of Akamdis Television. Under the auspices of His Excellency President Paul Biya, a two-day campaign has been launched by the National Commission for Bilingualism and Multiculturalism to fight hate speech and xenophobia in the central region of the country. The occasion took place today at the Yaoundé Town Hall. Details in the following report. Different administrative authorities, traditional and religious rulers, politicians and stakeholders were all present during the day one of a two-day campaign organized by the National Commission for Bilingualism and Multiculturalism to combat hate speech and xenophobia in the central region. It started on July 8 at the Yaoundé City Hall with simple objectives.
We're trying to sensitize, but most importantly, we're trying to find out from our various stakeholders that we have invited what their opinions are with regard to the causes, the manifestations, the consequences, and the recommendations that they can make with regard to hate speech and xenophobia. We must say that this is a new campaign under the auspices of the head of state, who himself has actually asked us to do this particular campaign. Due to the fact that the social media is negatively contributing to the promotion of this societal ill, there is need to tackle this platform. It has been noticed online, as the new media, offline, that is the conventional media, and even in interpersonal relationship, that there has been an upsurge in hate media, on hate speech, and so we're trying to see how the public can contribute in curbing, in mitigating, in preventing, and if possible, in eliminating hate speech. Under the auspices and strict instructions from His Excellency President Paul Biya, the campaign is timely and aimed at bringing everyone on board to see how to join hands and make this cankerworm an issue of the past. Though difficult to completely eliminate hate speech and xenophobia, there is need to tackle the root cause to find possible and lasting solutions. Hate speech must give way to love and division give way to unity, a fight that concerns everyone. The Minister of Youth Affairs and Civic Education, Monona Photo, has granted audience to a 23-year-old talented Cameroonian who is a student of the Dijon University in France. The minister applauded his effort and talent after he's created the PKB Mars rover, a device that is able of captivating human actions from a distance. Ruth Fonyong tells us more in the following report.
Yannick Edouard Mekongo, of age 23, former student of the African Institute of Information, Cameroon branch, and on scholarship in the University of Dijon in France as information engineer in the 5th year, is the founder of the PKB Mars rover, a learning robot capable of recognizing the voice, gestures of humans from a distance and replicates them.
Ce projet peut apporter une plus-value, notamment dans le domaine.
This project can bring an added value in the domain of medicine, where we can be able to carry out operations from afar. If you have taken note, this project was tested by the fact of being able to imitate movements, human gestures, and send the information to the robot so it will imitate the gesture and do like humans in the operation hall.
Pour qu'il puisse imiter ces gestes-là et faire la même chose que l'homme.
According to the young inventor, his robot can be used in fields such as surveillance, medicines, in particular through image processing, agriculture. It should be noted that this ICT virtuoso is not at his first digital innovation. Yannick Mekongo is obeying the president's speech, which says youth should be productive.
Je pars du principe selon le...
My idea is birthed from the principle that says we the youth are the ones to innovate, conceive things. The head of state was saying we should not wait on what the country can do for us. We need to ask ourselves what we can do for the country. During the session, they encourage and promise to support me.
In regard to this artificial intelligence of the young man, an audience was granted to him where he felt so loved and expressed his gratitude.
Je n'ai pas les mots parce que je suis ému.
I'm glad and satisfied with this audience and all stakeholders who mobilized themselves for this session asked me pertinent questions. And all I do is thank all those who came for the meeting. I'm also happy because so many proposals were given on the protection of the project, the necessities to be able to foster the project.
Ont été faites notamment sur la protection du projet.
However, the discoverer of PKB Mars rover wants to inform the population that this idea is birthed from an apprenticeship which allowed him to acquire a certain number of skills in robotics, which will allow him to go further in his research.
8 July 1996 to 8 July 2021, the Mutation newspaper, a private print media in Cameroon, clocks 25, an anniversary worth celebrating at the head office here in Yaoundé. The owner of the newspaper took this as an opportunity to encourage the workers and ask them to put in more efforts to make the print media an exemplary one in the country. Stephen Elangwe was present during the ceremony and brought back this report.
Anniversaire, mutation, joyeux anniversaire.
This is a blissful birthday song that spiced the event at the Mutation head office this evening. And in fact, the Mutation newspaper is 25 years old today. The founder was pleased to trace the trekking origins of the print media house.
You know, it has been a fabulous experience, because we decided to create this newspaper. We were no names, you know, and we were coming from CRTV or Cameroon Tribune. Few people thought we'll have this long time. So when I reached here today to realize that it's 25 years ago, you know, I'm very proud of that experience. I'm proud of what Mr. Boyomo and his team are doing to make Mutation be the best.
After 25 years of experience, Mutation has witnessed excellent maturity, though there is still a long way to go.
Globally, it's positive, but I look forward to see Mutation growing and to create other media, you know, television, radio, and other titles, not only Mutation, because when we were here, we have created Situation, Ndamba, Les Cahiers de Mutation. If you can come back to that experience, but that needs money. That needs from the management, good decisions, and recapitalization.
Going back to the annals of history, Mutation newspaper started in one room back then in 1996, but today it stands tall among the most referenced and respected newspapers in Cameroon. As a print media, Mutation grew from a weekly to a bi-weekly newspaper, and today it stands as a daily newspaper that commands reference and deference. The ceremony ended with blissful faces from other media houses that came to celebrate a giant media in the history of Cameroon.
Still in line with the 2021 edition of the Yaoundé Agribusiness Exhibition, over 5 hectares of land were provided for Cameroonian and foreign investors. After the launching ceremony, stakeholders took upon themselves to visit the various stands and appreciate what the exhibitors had to show. Ruth Fonyon was present and brought back this report.
Siali 2021, open to both international and national exhibitors, is so special as it gives an opportunity to people to come and showcase their know-how, strength and talent, publish the latest innovations, strengthen the existing relationships with experts and work out new partnerships. It is in this vein that after the opening ceremony, stakeholders visited stands.
This is my first time to be here, so I'm very happy to be here because for me it's like they give us important. You see, so you can have cocoa butter. We usually have cocoa butter for this in this form, but now you can have it here. You cut it here to make it easy for people to use it.
Siali has made it possible for people of different agricultural domains to exhibit their products with domestic animals inclusive.
We are doing a promotion of the rabbit because we want to show to all publics that we can do a rabbit to eat because it's the white meat and it's very good for the health.
Transformation of farm products is something we won't fail to talk about.
Company producing and distributing biscuits based on sweet potatoes flour, and I must say that it's a very old recipe from my father, who invented it way back in 1952. And he sold it moving around streets for almost 48 years.
The 7th edition of Siali opens the way for people to make public their goods.
I'm satisfied because of many people are coming, strangers are there, everybody are there, everything's moving okay. Yes, I'm here to make advertisement, not selling to know, make those people knows about me, and therefore if they know, they will go buy it after. I'm not here to say, I'm here to make a promotion.
The fair will run till July 11, 2021. It is worth noting that this event is not just a symposium, but a creation of visibility.
The Agribusiness Exhibition 2021 has come to put smiles on the faces of Cameroonian and foreign investors. This was a period when they were drilled on how to process their agricultural products. Once more with Ruth Fonyon.
Actors of agriculture and food industry sector are showcasing their know-how at the ongoing Yaoundé International Agribusiness Exhibition, Siali. The fair, which is in its 7th edition, aims at contributing to the development of agriculture and agro-food industry in Cameroon and render the sector more competitive.
We are very happy to participate in this Siali this year because it permits to make us known and present our little products. We are not doing anything big, but it helps to show that the Cameroonian is able to do something with his hands and little means.
Siali provides business opportunities between investors and promoters of agricultural projects and the processing of agricultural products. Moreover, it is a platform for the promotion and sensitization of populations within the framework of second-generation agriculture. It creates new markets for the benefit of small and medium-sized enterprises and attracts investors from various walks of life and help raise funds for bankable projects.
Je suis le responsable chargé du centre de pharmacopée bénétisane
I am in charge of the presentation and exhibition of our products in different fairs. If you see me here, it's just to promote traditional pharmaceutical products. It is to make known to the Cameroon population, especially that of Yaoundé, that from plants, so many illnesses can be treated. From plants, we can prevent so many illnesses.
À base des plantes, nous arrivons à prévenir beaucoup de maladies.
The Yaoundé International Agribusiness, like many other fairs, offer business opportunities and an avenue to establish direct funding, partnership with enterprises, and establish business contacts to any level for supply will meet demand.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just watching us, you're watching the 6 p.m. Prime News from the capital city, Yaoundé of Cameroon. Now we move over to something very interesting. Financing structural infrastructures in Cameroon has been the focal point of discussion during an audience that was granted by the Minister of State Property Surveys and Land Tenure, Eyebe Ayisi, to the African Development Bank Secretary General, Serge Ngisan. Details of that discussion in the following report. The Minister of State Property, Surveys and Land Tenure, Eyebe Ayisi, has granted audience to the Director General of the Central African Development Bank. Financing structural infrastructures in Cameroon was at the center of their discussions in strict respect of the law.
The African Development Bank has focused its cooperation with the Cameroonian government on financing structural infrastructures, the road, the dams, the power lines, and all this needs land to be implemented. If you don't master the process to acquire those land, you're not going to be able to implement those projects. So we want to make sure that we are online. We're going to use the bylaws of the country.
Modernizing the maps will go a long way to help Cameroonians to quickly acquire land titles.
We have a double structure to have immatriculation. We have the direct immatriculation, but we also those direct immatriculation are based on the laws of 74. But we also have the law of 76, which permits the common Cameroonian to have land titles. So such project can help the citizen to have, as fast as possible, different land titles.
The Minister of State Property, Surveys and Land Tenure, Eyebe Ayisi, congratulated the new director of the African Development Bank for his new post and his joy to the powerful delegation for collaborating with Cameroon. There are hopes that with this union, Cameroon would benefit a lot and realize greater projects in 5 years to come. The usage of earphones have become very common in our society. Both the young and the old have been seen using these, either in the cars, in their offices, along the highways, everywhere. But the question is, have you ever asked yourself, what could be the outcome of the short or long-term effects after using these earphones? Our reporter Stephen Langwe caught up with some youths on the streets of Yaoundé in a bid to find out from them what they think about the usage of earphones. Let's listen.
Earphones or earpieces are in the ears of 5 out of 10 youths on the streets of Cameroon for reasons that are enormous. I've been using earphones since I was 10 and today I am 27. There are those who insert the earphones deep into their ears and it affects it automatically. So when one doesn't want them to pain his or her ears, it should not raise all the volume of the earphone. The argument of most is that they do not use them excessively, or rather they use them just in specific circumstances. Well, first, I don't use my earphones frequently. I only use them in public places. For example, when my phone rings, I need not take it out of my pocket or my bag. I simply answer through my earphone. In areas that are noisy, I am obliged to use them. Likewise, when answering a call with one, it helps to filter the sound and it is quite clear. By and large, some have at least heard of its negative effects on the eardrums. Well, I use them less frequently, so I have not yet felt any pains around my ears. But at least I affirm that I have heard doctors talk about the effects of it. I use mine when I feel somehow sad. I use them to make myself feel better. Medical findings have stated that whether with excessiveness or non-excessiveness, these earphones leave either short-term or long-term effects on the hearing system of a person.
We now move out of the country, precisely in South Africa, where the former president, Jacob Zuma, has finally handed himself to the police. This comes after 1 week of tension when the former president, refused to voluntarily hand over himself to the Constitutional Court. Geraldine Nasi tells us more in the following report.
The South African ex-president Jacob Zuma has decided to comply with the incarceration order by handing himself to the Correctional Services Facility. Zuma's imprisonment comes after a week of tensions over his sentence. He was ordered to prison for contempt because he defied a court order for him to testify before a judicial commission investigating widespread allegations of corruption during his time as the country's president from 2009 to 2018. The Constitutional Court had ordered that if Zuma did not voluntarily hand himself over to the police, then the police should arrest the country's former president by the end of Wednesday. Kenneth Kaunda was buried on Wednesday amid ongoing controversy over his burial site. Some of his relatives had wanted him buried at his residence next to his late wife Betty, whom he had 10 children. But the burial proceeded without incident at the special cemetery dedicated for the country's leaders. The country's first president and independence leader is buried at the country's burial site despite an 11-hour bid by some of his relatives to block the interment. Meanwhile, Lungu has declared Kaunda's birthday on April 28, 2022 as a national holiday. COVID-19 cases in England rose by 71% in the week to 30th June compared to the previous 7 days, with a total of 135,685 people testing positive. The surge in new cases comes after the government revealed its plans for Freedom Day on 19 July, when all remaining restrictions will be lifted, contingent on a final decision set to be made next Monday. However, the proportion of people who were reached by the test and trace system dropped significantly. Out of the 112,585 people transferred to the test and trace system, 87.9% were reached, but latest figures, however, now show the total of 356,036 alerts.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the package of 6 p.m. Prime News that we had for you. Here are the headlines. Under strict instructions from this president, His Excellency President Paul Biya, a 2-day campaign to fight hate speech and xenophobia in the central region of Cameroon, organized by the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism, has started this July 8 at the Yaoundé Council. Mutation newspaper, a private print media in Cameroon, celebrates 25 years of existence this July 8, 2021. An opportunity for the entire staff to celebrate this memorable day at the head office here in Yaoundé, the capital city of Cameroon. A 23-year-old student from Dijon University in France was granted audience and applauded this by the Minister of Youth Affairs and Civic Education, Monona Foto, for inventing a PKB mass rover device capable of recognizing human gestures from a distance. Thanks very much for being there. It has been a pleasure. Meet Desiree Mbune at 8 p.m. with news in the French language. Have a blessed evening in the company of our programs.